Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Just Another Talk. On this episode, I'm just going to be honest. You guys know, and if you don't know, you're going to find out today. But I hate California. More specifically, I hate Gavin Newsom. Now, I usually am pretty impartial when I look at things, and I try to look at them from multiple angles. I also even try to come up with arguments that oppose my thought process on a topic. But on this one, I just dislike Gavin Newsom. I don't like his mannerisms. I don't like his policies. I don't like his laws. I don't like how snob he is. I don't like his hair. His nose gets on my nerves. His wife gets on my nerves. I dislike his kids. I don't even like his dog, okay? Call it what you may. I don't care. But I figured I'd make this video because Gavin Newsom decided to front run a situation which we'll be covering today. Without further ado, let's go ahead and watch this video and what he's front running.
In recent days, federal agents have knocked on the doors of family, friends, and former employees. Not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one. They're demanding records. They're abusing the grand jury process, digging through years and years of random documents. Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president. Because he hates that I've consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit. Donald Trump is simply the most corrupt president in American history. He's turned the levers of government into his own personal power ministries to reward cronies and to try to jail his opponents. His personal attorney now runs the Department of Justice, which has repeatedly gone after his political enemies. Ask Jerome Powell. Sent them after James Comey, Trish James, Adam Schiff. He sent them after Tim Walz. And a woman.
Were they prosecuted? Were they leg up? Was any wrongdoing discovered? So if you're not doing anything wrong, should you be worried? I don't know.
That a jury found Donald Trump had sexually abused. One by one, anyone who has challenged Donald Trump has ended. The attorney now runs the Department of Justice, which has repeatedly gone after his political enemies. Ask Jerome Powell. Sent them after James Comey, Trish James, Adam Schiff. He sent.
Let's back up 2 seconds.
Powell. Sent them after James Comey, Trish James, Adam Schiff. He sent them after Tim Walz. And a woman that a jury found Donald Trump had sexually abused. One by one, anyone who has challenged Donald Trump has ended up on his hit list. And today, I proudly joined that list. After calling for my arrest last year, Donald Trump directed his Department of Justice to investigate me. And just in the last week, I've learned that his campaign has reached my own home. To get me, he's coming after my wife, Jen. A public servant, a woman who's dedicated her life to supporting women and girls. Someone who has done nothing wrong other than having the temerity to advocate for what she believes in.
So you shouldn't be worried. Also, this is the guy who's started a rail system that hasn't gone anywhere. He's spent billions of dollars on homelessness, hasn't done anything with it. The Palisades burned under his watch. Has passed laws to lower the penalty for touching kids. I'm confused, my bro. Are you sure you want to take this fight on? But okay, maybe I'm wrong. Let's see what else he has to say.
If they can't intimidate me, they'll go after the mother of our children. Donald Trump.
They should go after your children too.
Wrong target. We have nothing to hide. His political operatives can take every record and read every page, but they'll be looking in the wrong place. Because if they really want to find corruption, look no further than 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
What's that?
Donald Trump is.
I'm just kidding, guys. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Selling the presidency. He's running the largest cash heist in American political history, trading foreign tariff relief for approval of his golf courses. Day trading behind the Resolute desk, reaping hundreds of millions of dollars in personal profit. And he's doing it openly. He's doing it on camera. He did it last night on the White House lawn. He's doing it through cryptocurrencies. He's doing it through the receipt of a $400 million private jet from a foreign government that he plans to keep when he leaves office.
That's
through his son's ventures in countries where his own administration is simultaneously making policy. His personal fortune has skyrocketed by $4 billion since making his return to office. This is the behavior of a regime, not a republic. The White House has become a marketplace for sneakers and coins and watches, cologne, guitars, Bibles, and phones. Influence for sale, access for sale. And today, my family and I can personally confirm that justice is for sale.
Yeah, well, that's not how it works. But anyways, I don't want this to be taken as an endorsement for Trump because I have my problems with Trump. But one thing that I definitely dislike about Newsom is the fact that he pretends to be this extremely righteous person who is fighting for you. Meanwhile, he gives money to NGOs that funnel that money back into God knows whose pockets because it's not going for the causes. They've spent billions of dollars, probably trillions of dollars at this point, on initiatives that do absolutely nothing. Some of you may say, well, you're supporting Trump. I'm not, okay? I'm supporting an idea that I like. Are there things about Trump I don't like? Of course they are. But are there things I don't like about Newsom that outnumber what I don't like about Trump? Hell yeah, there is. You can bet your bottom dollar there is. And in this situation, I'm happy that he's being investigated. I think they should flip every rock, see what's underneath. Something will come out, and I have no problem with it. Now, I also think that this should be applied across the board, regardless of who the political party is or who the person is, of course. And that might be a little bit naive, because maybe it'll never happen. But as far as Gavin Newsom, shake the tree. I want to see what falls out.
To Donald Trump, who I know is watching because he watches everything, I have a message for you.
What's that?
Subpoena my records. You can investigate me. You can harass me. Put my name on every and any enemies list you have, but leave my wife and family out of your personal vendetta.
No, well, I think you should include them. They're guilty as charged. Yeah, I'm willing to bet your wife knows about where all the skeletons are.
I'd like to say something to my wife. These times are not normal. They're not ordinary. I love you, and I'm sorry he's doing this.
I feel like this is a bigger apology than when he cheated on his wife with his best friend's wife.
Thank you all for coming here in short notice. Want to make it clear that everything you've heard and read is true. And I am deeply sorry about that. I've hurt someone I care deeply about, Alex Turk, his friends and family. And that is something that I have to live with and something that I am deeply sorry for. I am also sorry that I've let the people of San Francisco down. They expect a lot of their mayor, and my personal lapse of judgment aside, I am committed to restoring their trust and confidence, and will work very hard in the upcoming months to make sure that the business of running the city is framed appropriately. I also want to extend a personal apology to everyone in our administration, to my staff that I just met with, to my friends and my family members. I am deeply sorry and am accountable for what has occurred and have now begun the process of reconciling it, and now will be working aggressively to advance our agenda in the city and to work hard to build again the trust, restore the trust that the people of San Francisco have afforded me. I appreciate everyone taking the time to be here today. Thank you very much. You have not earned a single one of the indignities that he's trying to inflict on you and our children. And to Donald Trump, this country does not belong to you. It does not belong to your cronies. And we're going to fight your lawlessness. And we're going to continue to remind the people of this country of your corruption. That same corruption our founders warned us against as we move to celebrate our 250th anniversary.
Do you think that our founders, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, James Madison, to name a few. Do you think that they would look at California and be like, yeah, this is the America we pictured? Huh? Yeah, I highly doubt that. But okay, let's let him dream. It's okay. Let's see what else he has to say.
I'm going to keep reminding Americans of what they warned would happen if a man with no character ever held the office of presidency.
Right, kind of like you.
Let me say it again. Mr. President, come after me. I'm not going anywhere. And the country is watching.
Yeah, I hope you go to jail. That's what I hope. Now, he posted this on his X account. So let's see what the comments are saying, which I'm willing to bet they are not kind. Let's see. You're going to prison. It's going to be amazing to watch. I sincerely appreciate everything you have done to facilitate the absolute cinema that is about to unfold. Enjoy your last few minutes of freedom. We will all be watching and cheering for your downfall. Wow. All right. Eloquently put. Newsom, you and your criminal partner spouse feel that vice tightening by the DOJ. You'll start squealing to save your ass. Maybe Timmy Waltz can send you a box of tampons before your ass cheeks squeeze too tightly. No, at Gavin Newsom. He's coming after you because you actually revealed to the citizens of the United States that you are so corrupt. It is hard to conceive how corrupt you can be. Buckle up, Buttercup. Your time is short. One other thing that I didn't even think about to mention while he was talking was the Stop Nick Shirley Act. Like, this guy is so corrupt that his representatives in his state came up with a law in order to prevent investigation of possible fraud. Isn't that crazy? I don't know about y'all. I think that's crazy. You dipshit. We want you to run for president. You're going to guarantee another 4 years of a Republican president. So please don't be so arrogant to believe that we don't want you to run. That being said, everybody knows you're a crook. Oof. Your projection is nauseating. The investigation connects to a 2025 federal corruption case against Newsom's former chief of staff, Dana Wilson, involving fraud charges with FBI activity, including wiretaps and subpoenas to associates that predates the current administration. Nick Shirley joined California leaders' hit list, and you pass the Stop Nick Shirley Act when he exposed fraud. How can you say there's nothing to hide? What's your net worth? From a governor's salary? Yeah, we're not stupid. And you burned Cali to the ground. You're a joke. Ouch. I don't think people like Gavin. I know I only read a couple X posts. Who knows who those people are? Nobody knows them. So maybe it doesn't matter.
Oh, my word. So this is why California Governor Gavin Newsom did a press conference today stating he was under DOJ investigation because he wanted to get ahead of this. So the DOJ is currently investigating California Governor Gavin Newsom and his wife, Jennifer Newsom.
Right.
Jennifer Newsom has funneled nearly $4 million to herself from her nonprofit funded by Gavin Newsom's donors. Jennifer Newsom's nonprofit, the Representation Project, is funded in large by Gavin Newsom's political donors. Jennifer Newsom has taken $1.8 million in salary. She sent $2.1 million more to her production company, Girls Club Entertainment, funneled from the nonprofit. Textbook money laundering. Wow. This is absolutely insane. Gavin, Jennifer, if you're held accountable, you're going to prison.
Good. They should go to jail. I'm not pulling no punches this episode. I don't care. I just don't. I don't like anything about California. Like I said before, this episode's not going to be one of those episodes where, I'm carefully combing through things and saying, oh, well, there's this side of it, there's that side of it. No, there's one side here. This dude is corrupt. Period. I don't care. Full stop.
He's the governor of the country's largest state, a likely future presidential contender, and one of the most prominent critics of Donald Trump, who currently holds elected office, is out with a stunning piece of news this afternoon. California Governor Gavin Newsom saying that he and his family have become targets of the Trump Justice Department simply because he has dared to stand up to and criticize Donald Trump.
No, that's not why.
Here is some of Governor Newsom's statement posted online this afternoon.
One by one, anyone who has challenged Donald Trump has ended up on his hit list. And today, I proudly join that list. After calling for my arrest,
aides to Governor Newsom say that at least part of the investigation focuses on the governor's wife, Jennifer Newsom, and that people affiliated with nonprofit groups that she runs have already been questioned by federal agents. Two sources tell our colleague Carol Lenig that a federal prosecutor's office based in Sacramento is focused on the tax filings of Jennifer Siebel Newsom. It began in early 2025 and is just one of several investigations centered around the Newsom family.
I'm willing to bet that they didn't even cover their tracks, especially when it comes to their taxes. I'm willing to bet they're going to find something. And if I'm wrong, then I'll come back here and I'll say I'm wrong. Maybe I'll even wear Newsom for president shirt. We'll see. Let's see what happens.
Governor Newsom also say that the investigation picked up steam around the time that Todd Blanche took the reins at DOJ. That would, of course, coincide with the time he began very publicly auditioning for the role of permanent attorney general in earnest.
You notice she said it started ramping up. In other words, insinuating that there had already been an investigation. Just thought I'd point that out.
The breaking news that California Governor Gavin Newsom has been targeted by the Justice Department, as delivered by Governor Newsom himself, is where we begin today with some of our favorite reporters and friends. New York Times Justice Department reporter Glenn Thrush joins us. Also joining us, NYU law professor and legal analyst Melissa Murray. She's the author of the U.S. Constitution, a comprehensive and annotated guide for the modern reader. Also joining us, former Department of Justice pardon attorney Liz Oyer is back with us. Glenn Thrush, take us through your reporting on this story.
Yeah, Glenn, tell us. What do you think?
So basically what we know is what the governor has told us. The investigation, as far as we can tell, the reporting that we have done so far, and this is very preliminary, we just learned about this today, mostly focuses on the governor's wife and the not-for-profit that she runs. She's a documentarian. She's written about gender discrimination. There have been, over the years, critics who have scrutinized and criticized some of the donations they have taken. So this is apparently a tax investigation run out of Sacramento. We don't have a general sense yet that this is run out of Maine Justice, but as I'm sure your viewers know, a sensitive political investigation against one of the president's hand-picked targets would have to essentially, if not be signed off on by the Attorney General, certainly within his
Notice how he says hand-picked target. Let's just see what else he says.
Realm of knowledge. But the one thing I would caution against is really assuming that there's absolutely no basis for this investigation. Obviously, Newsom wanted to get out in front of this story.
You hear that? Let's back it up a couple seconds. Play it one more time.
Basis for this investigation, assuming that there's absolutely no basis for this investigation. Obviously, Newsom wanted to get out in front of this story. So I would just caution folks to just wait a couple of beats as the reporting evolves to see if there was anything justified at the bottom of this. But I will say, in general, it is uncanny. It is a heck of a coincidence that the only investigations that we keep hearing about involve Democrats and President Trump's targets. There don't seem to be any allies of President Trump's on these list of investigative targets that we are writing and talking about every single day.
No, you have to throw that fast.
Serious, but so is physical assault against cops. So I take your point, Glenn Thrush, but I want to focus in on the part of the timeline that coincides with Pam Bondi being fired, Todd Blanche very clearly auditioning for the permanent job. Just put out there for me anything I may have missed. What we know is that Comey, after 2 failed attempts to indict him, is indicted over the seashell malarkey that even right-wing legal analyst Jonathan Turley calls Bill Barr's favorite smear BS. We know that the governor and his wife come under scrutiny. Who else that's a critic is targeted as part of Todd Blanche's audition tape?
Well, as I reported the day before Bondi was fired, Bondi and Blanche had gotten together and identified a list of investigations to be fast-tracked. Newsom's name wasn't on it. Cassidy Hutchinson, the former aide to Mark Meadows, who testified before the J6 committee, was kind of at the top of the list, as was John Brennan, the former CIA director, who is now the subject of a floundering investigation in South Florida based on comments and an annex that he wrote into a report on Russian interference in the 2016 election. So there was a concerted effort by Blanche and Bondi at a time when Bondi felt her job was endangered to accelerate these investigations, to put everything on the front burner. Act Blue, the Democratic fundraising arm, that does appear to have some significant legal liability, potentially, in terms of an investigation, was also part of that list.
Yeah, all people who've done shit wrong. Again, what are we talking about here?
Glenn, do you have any knowledge of any investigations that Todd Blanche has overseen or been a part of that do not include investigations in the category of Trump-directed retribution?
I mean, they're not publicized. You know, the department.
But do you know of any?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, are we talking about sort of fentanyl stuff and Raul Castro and, but no, I mean,
no, I'm not talking about Marco Rubio's honey-do list. My point being, there is nothing known, and again, I won't speak for you. If you know of any, let me know.
Well, look, Nicole, there's no doubt that as and we should say that
there's no
I believe
doubt.
Blanche is meeting today with Chuck Grassley, the administration's ally who is running the Senate Judiciary Committee, about Blanche's impending confirmation hearings, which we are hearing are not necessarily going to go in his favor. There's a real potential that at least two Republicans on the committee, Tom Tillis and John Cornyn, are going to raise serious objections. So he's facing an uphill battle. So there is this general sense, and Blanche denied that he was auditioning. But again, I would direct viewers to go online and look at this interview that he did with Sean Hannity, in which he does something truly extraordinary. Blanche had this general lawyerly reserve. He was kind of playing both sides here. Pushing forth this image of being, and Liz Oyer wrote about this wonderfully in her Substack the other day, that he'd been putting forth this image of somebody who was reasonable, who was going to protect the core interests of the department, while at the same time seeking to protect Trump's image. The first part of that equation has been thrown out over the past 6 to 8 weeks. He is doing everything that Trump wants him to do. And I think the question now is, will the Senate pay attention to this, or will they, as they have done in other Trump nominations?
He's the president. What do you want him to do? To go against what the president says? I mean, we don't even know if the president said to do these things. Like, it's a lot of conjecture. It's a lot of assumption, because Trump has either had a spat with some of these people, or at some point in time pointed them out for something they did or not liking their behavior. And then all of a sudden they are investigated. Oh, it must be because Trump wants them out the way. No, it can't be, because the investigation has some merit on face value. And this is the news, guys. Remember, this is the news. People actually watching this shit.
Cave and appoint and confirm Todd Blanche as the permanent attorney general.
Yeah, I think they will.
I mean, Liz Oyer, the question for people like Tillis and Cassidy and Cornyn is, what will you do when your wife is under criminal investigation by the Department of Justice? Because retribution in the second term is broadly, understood by Todd Blanche to include Republican critics as well. I mean, I think that Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene and John Bolton would certainly, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger. I mean, the list goes on, that retribution is a brush that can be painted across anyone that doesn't go along with the charade of a second term as president that Donald Trump is carrying out and Todd Blanche is enabling.
Yeah, so Blanche and Trump both know from personal experience that being under investigation is very damaging. Just the investigation itself, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of pressure on an individual's family just to be in that situation of being under criminal investigation. So they know the power of opening an investigation into an enemy of the president. That is a punishment unto itself, even if it goes nowhere, as most of these investigations likely.
And even if some of these investigations lead nowhere, there's a reason why they were started. And they're not always just, because it's Trump's enemy. This is crazy work.
They will go nowhere because there's no merit to them. But what's especially notable about an investigation of someone like Gavin Newsom is that there historically has been a very detailed, very laborious process that prosecutors at the Justice Department have to go through to open an investigation or prosecution of an elected public official. That process will go through Main Justice, through the Public Integrity Section, which is a specialized unit run by a career career, non-political prosecutor that would essentially advise the attorneys in the field in a U.S. attorney's office like the one in Sacramento, whether Main justice standards would support opening an investigation into a political elected official. The stakes for that type of investigation are especially high because it has the potential to deprive the American people of the services of a public servant that they elected and put into that office. So the bar is very high, and it would be.
So because somebody was put into office, we can't hold them accountable for doing some dumb shit? Like, again, these simple little, like, suggestions, like, oh, if you investigate Gavin Newsom, it's going to take away the attention that the elected official can give the people who voted for him. What? Okay. If he's doing shit wrong, I don't care. Send his ass to jail. And I think he's doing things wrong. Listen, I don't know. I'm speaking from a space. I'm speaking from a place where I just have eyes. I've seen some of the shit he said. I've seen some of the things that have gone on in California. I've added 1 + 1, and it's equaling 5. And I know 1 + 1 is not 5.
Something that career experts in the Justice Department would weigh in on. But under this administration, the public integrity section has been totally decimated, absolutely gutted. That specialized office that used to have about 36 or so employees had at last count 2 remaining staff members, just illustrating that there is no concern in this Justice Department about the norms and the values of the institution. It is all about dismantling the safeguards that allow the president and his personal fixer, Todd Blanche, to get his enemies, to punish people, even when the institutional norms don't support that. And that's what really jumped out at me about the case of.
You hear that? She just snuck it in. Institutional norms. We don't want institutional norms. We want pay for the dumb shit they do. Okay, this is paying for the dumb shit you do. You allow fraud, you need to go to jail. Okay, you facilitate fraud, you need to go to jail. You open an NGO that then receives donor funds that then is funneled into one of your other companies. That's fraud. Go to jail.
Of Gavin Newsom here.
Oh, they don't let the black lady talk. Oh well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think he's going to jail? Do you think he should go to jail? Is he corrupt? Is he not corrupt? Is this a witch hunt? Do you disagree with me? Do you think Trump is just going at him because he thinks that Gavin can beat him in the presidency, even though he can't run, but whatever? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you like, share, and subscribe.